Today we're talking about Final Fantasy, Spirits Within. Why? I need a bad review. It's been nothing but great ones. Let's talk about something that's not so great. Just drop Final Fantasy from the name. It makes the movie better. Let's talk about something to watch in your spare time. Forgettable. Disappointing. Not worth it. Not up to the hype. Beautiful backgrounds. Cutting edge CG, especially for 2001. A subpar story, cheesy dialogue, and characters you don't care about. Shitty music. Shitty. They try and kill an eagle with it at the end. Let's talk about something that's skippable. This was the most expensive CG movie made to date. I think it still holds the record. It's over $100 million to produce this feature that made less than 90. Ouch. Let's talk about the good stuff right off the bat. The movie looks great. Even by today's standards, the movie looks good. The characters are pretty believable. The character design for most of them is all right. Granted, this is 2001. Everyone looks pretty good. So the creator himself, Hironobu Sakaguchi, came out and directed this personally. His directorial debut, and he was like, let's make a bunch of side quests that nobody gives a shit about. And that's exactly what they did. And I remember seeing the advertisement going, oh my god, a Final Fantasy movie. And then I watched it and was like, it wasn't really a Final Fantasy movie. It was a fantasy movie. It may have been the final one for the studio, but it wasn't a Final Fantasy movie. Sadly, the lack of box office enthusiasm killed Square Pictures, and that's really sad. They had potential. It's not the graphics department's fault for the movie not making it. It's the subpar story and dialogue. When Aki's talking to Gray, you don't care. The dialogue's not good. Even when she tells the sad story, oh, the last spirit was a little girl who died. So what? You're all gonna die, and nobody cares. You know who we cared about? When Steve Buscemi died, because that was terrible. No, Buscemi! You know what would have made this movie 100 times better? Ditching the Final Fantasy from the title. The fact that there is a Final Fantasy connection kind of kills the movie, because you're like, okay, there's Sid, there's an airship, they're supposed to have Biggs and Wedge. Where's my dolphin? There's no chocobos. Where's my magic? There's no crystals. There's nothing. There's kind of a life stream. Kinda. Where's the boss fights? There's no boss fights. There's a lot of boss runs, because they run from shit a lot. But you're supposed to fight that shit. Who's leveling up? Nobody's leveling up, because everybody's dead. It's like they sent you into the movie with a team of Eris. Here you go. Don't get attached. I know you leveled them up, sucker. It's terrible. It's a movie of side quests. Side quests and cheesy dialogue do not a good movie make. Apparently it's the only Final Fantasy that takes place on Earth. At least Earth referenced by name. They call it Earth, they call it Gaia. They were in New York. It's Earth. It's our Earth, and it's all fucked up. Because some space dicks who turned out to be space ghosts who looked like ducks. What's up with the Iron Man ducks? They're all with their fucking... They're ducks. It's like if Quasimodo got merged with Gizmo Duck. That's what these things are. And they're just all pissed off and fighting each other. The dream sequence is way more interesting than the main story. And then there's the rest of that. And you don't care. Nobody cares about Aki and Gray's failed love life. Nobody cares. The dialogue's not good. As long as Steve Buscemi is helping them, they are acceptable. As long as Steve Buscemi's there. As soon as he's gone, no point. Yeah, Roz from Frasier is in it, but she dies too. And Steve Buscemi's already dead by this point, so you don't care. Same thing with you, Ving Rhames. Nobody cares. You've got Donald Sutherland being Sid, and he does a great job being Sid. He's not overshadowing everybody being Donald Sutherland, being Sid. And let's not forget about James Woods, who's the evil general guy. My woman says he looks like Gaston. If Gaston was being played by James Woods, who was trying to do Sephiroth. General. Space dicks. So the movie starts, and when the movie starts, you're actually like, okay, this has some promise. The opening scene's pretty strong. It looks good. So it starts off really strong. You get to see old New York. It's all fucked up. You got this chick named Aki. She's got an evil spirit inside of her that's going to kill her unless she can find the rest of the spirits. And she has to collect 3 more by the end of the movie. There's 8 spirits total. She's got 5. She finds the 6th one right there at the beginning. And that's also when you get your best voice acting from everyone. I don't know why all of a sudden as soon as they take off their helmets, the voice acting gets worse. I don't know why. But when they're in those helmets, you're like, yeah, this is believable voice acting. They take them off, you're like, oh, this is drab. The flare guns, that thing that she uses at the very beginning, I don't know why that ammo screams. But it's all it makes the phantoms visible so they can shoot them. I don't know how they're shooting them. No one knows that they're ghosts. That's the twist. You find out later in the movie, they're ghosts! We've been fighting ghosts! What a twist! Nobody cares. They're ghosts. They eat your soul. So what? She grabs her plant. She grabs this little pod thing from a dead guy's backpack. And then the third one, they lose in an explosion. But then they find when her unborn fetus, or maybe baby, turns into it. Not exactly sure what happens. So what? So your last 2 characters to get it in the film are James Woods and Alec Baldwin. James Woods blows himself up, and Alec Baldwin sacrifices himself in an unmasculine display of pussery. That's right, pussery. It wasn't gut-wrenching. He's like, I love you, Aki. So what? The line was terrible. The dialogue between them was cheesy as hell. And I didn't care, because like I said, it should have been Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi should have had the 8th spirit and lived. Or, you know what they should have just done? Instead of that eagle, that cool-ass eagle at the end, Steve Buscemi flying through the air. Whee! That would have been awesome. Hell yeah! It's way easier to go over scenes that I did enjoy from the movie, because there's only a couple. I like the very beginning of the feature, before everyone takes off their helmets. I like the dream sequence in its entirety. And I really enjoy the extra content. The extra content's pretty awesome. If anything, you should see the extra content and then forget it. Forget it. The movie's a waste of your time. I would rather play Blitzball than watch this movie again. If you have access to someone with the special edition, they should have the extended extra content. And the extended extra content is awesome. They animated all these bloopers and deleted scenes, which are fucking hilarious. Way better than the actual feature. The Thriller scene. That's right, they actually animated almost all your characters in the film dancing to Thriller. James Woods' character is running from everyone and he looks over and now all your zombie characters are dancing Thriller at James Woods and he's terrified, just as he should be. It's Thriller. Okay, that's enough Thriller. You saw Thriller. I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. My official rating in my unofficial rating system, skippable. Sit-throughable? Not worthy. You don't need to own it. If you just watch it, that's good enough. You don't need to buy it. It's on Netflix. Waste 2 hours on Netflix. Put the Final Fantasy Spirits Within anime watched notch in your belt and walk away. Just walk away. I'm sure you've forgotten it already. I know I have, and I just watched it. Buscemi! This is AniView by Dave. I, of course, am Dave. If you have any questions, comments, or confusions, put them below, and I will get back to you. See you next time. I don't give a shit about any of these side quests. It's like a hour and 45-minute long side quest that doesn't get you anything. You don't care. I don't care. I just watched the movie. I forgot it. I forgot it. I don't play Final Fantasy for the card game. I don't play for the chocobo racing, even though I made that gold chocobo and kicked ass. But that's because I was getting Knights of the Round, and Knights of the Round is worth it. What do they get out of their side quests? Nothing. Everyone's dead. All of your Aeriths are gone. You've thrown all of Yuffie's weapons. There's nothing left. You got nothing. Nothing. The ending song sucks. That eagle looked pretty cool. Let's talk about that cool eagle. Did you see how cool that eagle was? Right before the song came on? And then you're like, oh God, why is this song trying to kill this eagle? No, the black guy doesn't die first. He dies, like, second to last. He gets injured first. He is the first one to get, like, something through his stomach, or he's all, no drugs, doc. I don't know why you're about to die. Fucking take some drugs, man. It's either that or get your soul eaten. Got his soul eaten. That's what happens when you lose the boss fight. James Woods is evil. When he goes into space, James Woods makes the leap from Earth Dick to Space Dick. Space Dicks! So James Woods figures, if we're being invaded by Space Dicks, then we need a Space Dick to kill these Space Dicks. So now it's Space Dick begets Space Dick. Like you fight fire with fire, you fight Space Dicks with Space Dicks. And then let's talk about how to defeat James Woods. Box trap with some candy. Defeat James Woods. Easy. I don't know why they didn't just try that. Instead, no, he like kills everybody. Blows himself up. All they needed was some candy. When James Woods is going through the tunnel and he's pulling himself along in zero-G, it looks like he's looking for the candy. Like, seriously, you just overlay the Family Guy audio. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Right? It would have been perfect. You win. Movie over. We got James Woods. As soon as Steve Buscemi dies, there's no point in watching the rest of the movie. He's your favorite character and they kill him. They just kill him. Neil Fleming, this is Steve Buscemi's character, and he's your favorite because he's Steve Buscemi. He's got the best lines, he's got the best timing, he's just the best, and then he dies, and then you don't care. Serenity, all over again. Nobody's death jars you in the movie like Steve Buscemi's death. Because he's awesome. He proves himself. You're like, yeah, Steve Buscemi! And then you're like, no! Buscemi! No! Oh, they totally did it. They floated around and held each other in a sensual manner after all their friends just got murdered. Yeah, they did it. Oh, yeah, they did it. They did it. It was going to be their last night floating around the Earth. They did it. So you can get knocked up in space. Maybe, baby. Maybe, baby. But let's talk about your main guy, Sid. He's not the main character, but he looks the best out of all of them. Sid looks amazing. Amazingly real. They broke the budget when they made Sid. Yes, let's talk about that awkward moment at the very end of the feature where Sid pees himself. He just stands there and he goes, ooh, it's warm. Ooh. Oh, it's warm. So Sid looks so realistic that he even has urinary tract problems. My prostate's been acting up. Ooh, it's warm. Yes, I peed a little. If you're going to talk Final Fantasy, you're talking Advent Children. Or the old school anime one. You know, the one where the chick eats the crystal and her butt cheeks flash. Final Fantasy. Nothing says Final Fantasy like flashing butt cheeks. By the end of the movie, you're like, what the fuck did I just watch? That was the most predictable thing I'd ever seen. I figured it out. I wasn't impressed. And like you said, Dave, as soon as Buscemi got killed, I stopped caring too. That's what you'll say, and you'll thank me. You're welcome.